It took 10 seconds to spark a firestorm that ABC could not control. 10 seconds. A hot mic. One sentence that was never meant to be heard but was heard by the entire world. An ABC anchor believed the cameras were off. The segment about rising tennis star Alexandra Eala had just wrapped. The lights were still blazing, the crew still moving, the feed still rolling. He leaned forward, relaxed, careless. She's not that good. The hype is just because she's from the Philippines. That was it. Not a rant. Not a debate. Just one dismissive line. And within hours it detonated. Before we break this down, let's get something straight. This wasn't about a missed volley. It wasn't about rankings. It wasn't about a heartbreaking loss on tour. It was about respect and who gets it. Because when that clip leaked online, it didn't spread. It exploded. X, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube reaction channels, sports podcasts, Filipino community pages, international tennis forums. The audio was clipped, looped, subtitled, slowed down, amplified. The words echoed everywhere. Suddenly Alexandra Eala wasn't trending for her backhand. She was trending because someone tried to reduce her entire career to her passport. And that hit deep. Let's pause the outrage and look at the facts. Alexandra Eala is 20 years old. A junior Grand Slam champion. A player who has stepped onto courts that very few athletes from the Philippines have ever touched. She trained at the prestigious academy of Rafael Nadal in Spain. She has battled seasoned veterans. She has climbed rankings through grind, not gimmicks. She didn't wake up famous. She woke up at 4 a.m. to train. She didn't get spotlight handed to her. She earned it through brutal practice sessions, painful losses, and relentless discipline. So when a major network voice shrugs and implies that her rise is fueled by nationality instead of skill, that's not analysis, that's dismissal. And fans recognized it instantly. Within hours of the leak, hashtags dominated timelines. Hashtag respect Eala, hashtag boycott ABC, hashtag proud Filipino. This wasn't just about tennis anymore. It was about dignity. Tennis is not the biggest sport in the Philippines. It doesn't have the cultural dominance of basketball or boxing. There isn't a long pipeline of global tennis icons from Manila. So when one athlete breaks through, it means something bigger than match points. It means representation. It means possibility. It means a kid watching from Quezon City thinking, maybe I can do that too. And then a powerful American media voice says it's just hype because of where she's from. That felt personal by sunrise. ABC had a crisis on its hands. Executives scrambled. Meetings were called. Phones buzzed with sponsor concerns. Media reporters began asking questions. A statement was released. The comment made off-air does not represent the values of our organization. The anchor has been suspended pending investigation. Suspended. Just like that, because in 2026, backlash moves faster than damage control. And here's the reality of the digital age: you don't control the narrative anymore. The internet does. But here's where the story shifts. While the world was arguing, Alexandra Eala said nothing. No emotional tweet, no cryptic Instagram rant, no dramatic PR statement. Her last post? A training photo. Focused. Calm. Locked in. That silence was louder than any clapback. While analysts debated bias, she practiced her footwork. While hashtags trended, she refined her serve. While critics talked, she worked, and that restraint transformed into power. Because the more noise surrounded her, the more unshakable she appeared. Now let's examine the irony. The anchor's claim was simple: the hype exists only because she's Filipino. Okay. Then explain the wins. Explain the ranking climb. Explain the statistics. Explain the relentless rallies against higher-seeded opponents. Nationality doesn't win breakpoints. Skill does. Grit does. Discipline does. If nationality alone created tennis stars, every nation with pride would have a top 5 player. That's not how elite sport works. Instead of shrinking her, the comment expanded her reach. Millions who had never watched her play suddenly searched her name. Highlight reels surged. Old interviews resurfaced. In one clip, she quietly says, "I play because I love the game." That quote went viral. TikTok edits synced it over slow-motion forehands. Reaction channels defended her composure. Commentators began reanalyzing her tactical intelligence. The insult didn't damage her brand, it reinforced it. Meanwhile, the scrutiny turned toward ABC. Internet detectives began digging up past segments. Subtle tones. Slight dismissals. Moments where underdog wins were framed as flukes instead of breakthroughs. Was this just one careless sentence? Or a glimpse into something deeper? Inside the newsroom, tension reportedly spiked. Producers were instructed to avoid social media engagement. PR teams worked overtime. Legal teams quietly reviewed contracts. Because when sponsors start asking questions, networks listen. And when global audiences feel disrespected, they don't forget. But here's the most powerful twist in all of this: the narrative that tried to minimize her ended up magnifying her. The clip that attempted to reduce her identity became proof of her impact. You don't dismiss athletes who are irrelevant. You dismiss athletes who threaten expectations. And that's what this feels like. A young Filipina breaking into a traditionally Western-dominated sport. A new market gaining global visibility. A new audience demanding equal respect. That shift can make some people uncomfortable. The question now isn't whether she deserved the hype. The question is whether the world is ready for what happens if she fulfills it. Because talent like hers doesn't fade quietly. IT sharpens, IT evolves, IT adapts. And controversy? Sometimes that's just fuel. 10 seconds spark the chaos. But this story isn't about an anchor's mistake. That's about what happens when an underestimated athlete refuses to be defined by someone else's narrative. It's about discipline over drama. Work over words. Performance over prejudice. And if there's one thing this episode proved, it's this: you can doubt her. You can dismiss her. You can try to reduce her to a headline. But every time you do, you make her bigger. And if she keeps climbing the way she has, that hype won't look like hype anymore. It will look like prophecy. Across the Philippines, support didn't just rise, it erupted. What started as outrage over a hot mic moment transformed into a full-blown movement. University students studying abroad began posting tribute videos. Filipino communities in the US, Europe, and the Middle East shared highlight reels. Timelines flooded with flags, hearts, and messages of solidarity. This wasn't just about tennis anymore. It was about respect. Let's be honest for a second. Criticism is part of sports. Analysts break down serve percentages. They dissect return speeds. They question shot selection and movement efficiency. That's fair. That's the job. But dismissing an athlete's rise as nationality hype, that crosses a sacred line. There is a massive difference between critique and belittling. Fans know that difference instinctively, and they responded with fury. Some tried to defend the anchor. It was out of context. It was a private joke. That it wasn't meant to be aired. That defense collapsed almost instantly. Because even if it was private, it revealed a mindset. And that mindset is exactly what people rejected. By day 3, the controversy wasn't fading. It was accelerating. Other networks picked it up. Sports debate shows dissected it. Media commentators argued about bias in coverage. Even late-night hosts cracked jokes about hot mic disasters. ABC's corporate apology, polished, cautious, PR-approved, felt small compared to the raw emotion pouring across social media. People didn't want a carefully worded statement. They wanted accountability. Meanwhile, Alexandra Eala kept grinding. Clips from her training sessions began circulating. Drills. Sweat. The crisp snap of racket strings meeting the ball. The quiet focus in her eyes. The message was unspoken but crystal clear: you talk. I play. And that quiet confidence won people over. Because sometimes the strongest clapback isn't loud, it's consistent. Now zoom out. Athletes from smaller or non-traditional tennis nations often face this specific brand of doubt. They're labeled surprising. They're described as unexpected. They're treated like temporary guests at a table built by others. When they win, it's called a feel-good story. When they lose, it's framed as regression to the mean. But when they keep winning, the narrative is forced to shift. Alex isn't a novelty headline. She's not a marketing experiment. She's a competitor forged in elite training environments, including the academy founded by Rafael Nadal, one of the most disciplined systems in the sport. Competitors don't need hype. They demand respect. The suspension of the anchor proved something important. Networks understand the cost of outrage. Reputation is currency. Sponsors are power brokers. Viewers are judge and jury. But here's the bigger question. Will this moment force a genuine shift in how rising athletes are discussed? Will commentators pause before making lazy assumptions? Or will this fade when the next scandal grabs headlines? That depends on the audience. Because this week proved something undeniable: fans have power. Collective voices can carry weight. And that weight can force consequences. Now imagine this. Picture Alex cracking the WTA top 5 in the coming years. Picture her lifting a Grand Slam trophy. Picture that hot mic clip replayed side by side with footage of her holding silverware, confetti falling, national flag draped over her shoulders. That would be the ultimate awkward silence. Sports history is built on moments like that. Doubt first. Dominance later. You can almost imagine the anchor's immediate regret when that suspension email landed. But the long-term regret? That's the one that could truly sting. Because if Alex keeps climbing, this controversy becomes part of her origin story. The clip becomes fuel. Every milestone drags it back into the light. Every big win reminds the world what was said. And that's the irony. The attempt to minimize her might become the spark that hardens her edge. Athletes remember doubt. They remember who didn't believe. They store it away. They turn it into high-octane fuel. And Alex's journey is still just beginning. She is young. She is evolving. She is sharpening her game tournament by tournament. She has already etched her name into Philippine tennis history, and she's nowhere near finished. Whether she breaks the top 5 this year or 2 years from now, one truth is undeniable: her success is not hyped. It is earned in sweat, sacrifice, and relentless repetition. The suspension might be temporary. The lesson is permanent. Words matter. Tone matters. Respect matters. And in today's digital arena, 10 seconds is all it takes to change everything. But let's slow down and process why this moment resonated so deeply. Alex's journey didn't begin under bright stadium lights. It started in the shadows: early mornings, exhausting drills, missed holidays, lonely travel schedules, and endless repetition. Tennis is brutal. It demands mental fortitude as much as physical strength. Players live out of suitcases. They lose more matches than they win while climbing the rankings. They absorb criticism with every misstep. And still, she shows up. That's what people connect with. It's not just the forehand or the backhand, it's the effort, it's the dignity with which she carries her flag onto international courts. When she wins, a nation celebrates. When she loses, a nation still stands behind her. That connection cannot be manufactured. It is forged over time. And that's why the comment cuts so deeply. Because for millions of Filipinos, she represents proof that global excellence is possible. She trains abroad. She competes against the elite. She inches upward through grit and discipline. That progress is tangible. It is earned. You do not reach this level by accident. So when someone tries to reduce the grind to hype, it feels personal. But here's the twist. The attempt to shrink her only made her shine brighter. Support multiplied. Her name reached audiences who had never watched a single rally. Her story grew larger than one careless sentence. The suspension came fast. The support was unstoppable. And the world is still watching. This story isn't over. Not even close. Her career is igniting. And if this week proved anything, it's this: underestimating her might be the worst bet anyone could make. Now the question shifts to you. Was the suspension enough? Or should stronger consequences follow that level of disrespect? And more importantly, do you see her answering all of this the best way possible? With victories? Because if history tells us anything, it's that greatness often rises from moments of doubt. And if Alex keeps climbing the way she has been, the top 5 won't look like a dream. It will look inevitable.